For the past 2 weeks, we've heard from the Republican and Democratic conventions, and they're telling people why they should vote. Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump both have made strong cases in front of thousands of Americans who attended or tuned in to watch and address the nation. Now, with all that said and done, many Americans now question the direction of the presidential elections, which is less than 100 days away. And this leads us into our first political segment with three very distinguished political commentators here to discuss the current state of the election and where it's headed. We've got from RNN Television, TV political commentator Dominic Carter, who's here with us as well. Also, political and media consultant Bob Capstatter, who also ran the Bronx Bureau of the Daily News, and J.C. Polanco, who is adjunct professor at the Borough Manhattan Community College, as well as our legal correspondent here as well. And so good to have you.
Thanks for having us.
It's great to be here.
Stellar panel here. And first of all, before we talk about the convention, let's talk locally first. Our last segment, we talked about the stepping down of NYPD Commissioner Bill Bratton. Dominic, you've covered the city for a long period of time. What do you think this resignation actually means for New Yorkers and the NYPD?
So I take it you're calling me an old man?
I'm not calling you an old man. Call you a veteran.
A veteran.
I like that.
A veteran. I covered Bratton. I bring the unique perspective of I've covered the NYPD going back to 1985, 86, and the Eleanor Bumpers case at the Bronx courthouse. That's how I cut my teeth in journalism. And let's look at the good news, bad news scenario as it relates to Bratton. The good news is that Bratton was very much cutting edge under Giuliani. He brought to New York a broken windows theory in terms of being proactive with policing before, I emphasize, before a crime occurs. Prior to Bratton, it was all done after the fact. So that's the good news. He changed the technology. Crime has reached historic lows over the last couple of decades. That's been a nationwide trend. The bad news, as we just heard from the Assemblyman, is police-community relations remains at a very high focal point in terms of the NYPD and police forces around the country, particularly here in the Bronx, being able to get along and coexist with the community. So that's been a downside.
Bob, when you hear the story of the Assemblyman, obviously this goes back to police-community relations. You've covered the Bronx for years.
I've covered cops. I've been in the business for almost 50 years. Covered cops.
You're a veteran too.
Well, a grizzled veteran. We call it grizzled. Well, I had one question that Michael had said that if he had touched that officer's shoulder, then they should have arrested him. Well, in a flowing situation as he encountered, where there's a fight going on, this cop may not have known what was going on, who was touching him, who was going to grab him. So that might have been the cop's reaction. We don't know. I think they may have used discretion in not arresting him after they found out who he was. So I think this should be part of the debate also in that. Community relations have always been difficult in this city, but I think they've calmed down a lot from decades ago, where you had actual riots in this city. I'm hopeful that Jim O'Neill, who's a very good cop's cop, who is very savvy about community, reaching out to the community, will do a good job. It's funny, I was at a night out last night and I ran into Chief Carlos Gomez, the former borough commander up here, and we were going over how many commanders came through the Bronx that are carrying multiple stars on their shoulders in the department right now. The Bronx is in the house down at One Police Plaza. So I think...
You know, that's a
go.
great thing that the Bronx is in the house. I think every time the Bronx is represented in these areas is wonderful for us. But one thing we can't ignore is the politics of this. We heard the history behind some of the criminal justice tactics by the commissioner, but there are some serious politics behind this decision. I think Commissioner Bratton resigned his position because he could not take working with the city council. The city council has put proposals through that take a lot of power away from the commissioner, that put a lot of oversight on top of the police officers, that make police officers jump through hoops. I mean, just take back 4 years ago. We're looking at police officers now having to respond to their sergeant, to their precinct commanders, and then to internal affairs, and then to the CCRB. And now, guess what? They get to be sued in private civil court. So we have police officers that are no longer even wanting to interact with the community because they're afraid of now a lawsuit that would hurt them personally. Then you have a police commissioner that has to deal with federal monitors. And now the last thing that happened was he resigns not soon after Bill de Blasio signs a bill decriminalizing dozens of offenses, things that improved our quality of life in New York City. So before, when you would urinate in public or drink a beer in public, you would receive a summons, and if you don't respond, then you face some criminal sanctions. But now, these things are going to be considered a joke. They're not going to be enforced. Police officers don't want nothing to do with it, and this is going to be a problem for law enforcement. It's going to create a problem where broken windows theory is no longer going to apply, and we're going to see crime increase. So you know what Bill Bratton said? We're taking law enforcement, you're taking it away from a professional like me, and you're giving it to these young kids that get elected to the city council with very little law enforcement experience, but acting politically.
But do you feel the crime will go up now with the change from Bratton O'Neill? I mean, is that a realistic? You're saying that's?
I think the city council is doing a terrible job when it comes to criminal justice. They're not law enforcement professionals. They're not prosecutors, and they're tying police officers' hands. That's what they're doing.
I think that, frankly, to be honest with you, having covered City Hall and the department so long, Bratton gave Mayor de Blasio a certain amount of credibility as a crime-fighting star. Whether we agree with that or not, that was Bratton's image. And so now, Mayor de Blasio does not have that anymore. Also, I say look at the politics as well of Bratton is leaving right as all these investigations into the NYPD and federal investigations about bad conduct, about police commanders and private aircraft flying with prostitutes to Vegas and so on. All of these things are backdrops as to, so Bratton may be jumping ship while his image, he's always been very media savvy, always.
Oh, yeah, totally.
That was his downfall under Rudy Giuliani when he did that cover of Time magazine and the mayor was not on it. So he may be jumping ship before the department receives a black eye.
I agree. I think he's going out at a high point in his career.
Very good point.
Yeah. All right, we got to switch gears here to talk a little bit about the convention, the Democratic National Convention, wrapping up, Hillary Clinton receiving the Democratic nomination. And from your take, looking at what you saw, I'll start with JC first, who's the one who will definitely have something to say about this one. When you look at the convention, how did you rate it?
Which one?
The Democratic convention.
Oh, the Democratic convention.
Right.
Can I tell you? Listen, I've never seen a performance like that since I saw Hamilton. I think it was quite a thing. I mean, when you see the all-star cast that was brought out there, I'm talking about from Senator Warren to Vice President Biden, President Obama, First Lady Obama. I mean, it's a bam, bam, bam. You get it from all angles. Just superstars. But they were describing this character that doesn't exist. I mean, they were talking about how this person is wonderful. Her leadership skills are amazing. Someone that our children can emulate. That was Michelle Obama, by the way. Someone who's proven leadership. Someone who will protect the national security. The whole time I'm looking around like, who is this surprise guest? Because you can't be talking about Hillary Clinton. This is a lady who used an email server that she wasn't supposed to, lied to us about classifying and top secret information being emailed. This is someone who's deleted 30,000 emails, told us she never deleted it, and someone who lied to the families of the people that died in Benghazi. You can't tell me this is the same person you're talking about. So as far as party unity, amazing event. Star-studded event, amazing. I mean, I loved the speeches. They were great. And much better than the Republican convention, by the way. By no stretch of the imagination are they even on par.
I tend to agree with you.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah,
I need
it
that.
was.
I need
I mean,
that.
they made a few mistakes. I mean, there were no American flags on the stage till somebody pointed it out.
I don't know. I
They
asked.
had
They said there were some. I don't know.
Well, later I saw them. But then they had the mothers of black men who'd been killed by police, but no widows of police officers who'd been killed till much later in the convention. So, I mean, there were a couple of little casting mistakes, but I agree. It was all to humanize Hillary, to just dispel this Lady Macbeth image that she's had to fight. She's had to fight it. The Claire Underwood of politics. And you're right about the Republican convention. It was very disjointed, but I don't think it mattered to Trump supporters. I mean, the Twitter is his convention.
Yeah.
Right. And talk about that for a minute, because for a long time, people have discounted Donald Trump supporters. And obviously, by looking at what you saw at the Republican convention, there's a groundswell of support. And his candidacy is definitely legitimate. What can we predict going head on in the future?
I know both nominees well on a personal level, Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump. I am telling the people of the Bronx, we have to understand that America does not look like the Bronx or the city of New York for that matter. And America certainly does not think like the Bronx or the city of New York. I am telling you, for all of Trump's unconventional ways, as of late, some have questioned his mental sanity. But for all of his theatrics and all of his games and the pandering by both candidates, I am telling you, don't sleep on Donald Trump. He is tapped into an anger that exists throughout America. And at the end of the day, throughout all the political games, he could be elected the president. As scary as it might be for some, he could be elected president of the United States.
What do the Republicans need to do to capitalize on this?
I think it's very tough for us right now. I disagree with Dominic. I mean, I think there was a chance for him to win, but he decided that he was going to become a clown. And what he's done is he's now attacking Paul Ryan but not supporting him. He's now attacking Senator McCain by not supporting him in his election bid. He's attacking Republican leadership daily. He's saying terrible things about Captain Khan's family. I mean, this is a guy who seems to me, who had an opportunity, like Dominic said, but somehow veered off and is now saying to himself, I don't care anymore. I'm going to just run this train off the rails. And I don't see how he can win this election if he continues this way. There's just no way possible. If you look at the latest polls, after the convention, 56%, according to Gallup, 56% of Americans are now less likely to vote for him after the Republican National Convention. That's not polling after Captain Khan's comments, the Captain Khan family comments. I don't see it. I don't see how it happens, especially with such low percentage of black voters supporting him. He's at 0 in Ohio. And the fact that now you have 11% of Hispanics supporting him. Those are dismal numbers. Although Dominic is right about something. He's tapped into some anger, but I want to add, he may have cultivated some of that, which is very sad.
I agree with you.
Yeah. I tend to think it's going to be a close race. I'm concerned about the third-party candidates, the Libertarians and the Green Party. I mean, again, I cite the Brexit vote where England, a lot of people cast their votes out of anger and didn't expect England would leave the EU, but there you go. What happened? So, yes, Trump looks like he is unraveling, but then you go on Facebook and you see the comments, even on the Khan controversy, where you have people supporting Trump and excusing it and finding all kinds of reasons. And
but Cappy, we don't have a Brexit system.
Let me throw this question out here because I was in England and I just came back from England, and one of the people who were out there with Brexit said the reason that Brexit occurred was because people didn't show up to vote, and they thought that everything would be okay. They didn't show up to vote, and now we understand what happened. They said the same thing can happen in the United States.
There's no doubt about it. Let me just make the scenario where that could happen. Trump's base is going to vote. I travel throughout the country a lot, places like Wisconsin, Idaho, and the battleground states that have been mentioned. You have to understand, it may be ugly politics, but by Trump taking on a Gold Star family, what he is really doing, I am telling you, as knowing him, the politics behind it, he's taking on, as despicable as it may be, a Muslim American family. And for that, there is tremendous political gain with his base.
That is terrible, Dominic. Oh my God, but do you know what, guys? One thing you haven't mentioned. We keep talking about Brexit. We talk about his base. We're looking at a country that decided a couple hundred years ago that we don't want to elect our presidents through popular vote. This is an electoral college map contest. And I don't see how he can disregard the electoral map. Right now, he's well below 200 in the electoral count. So I don't see how he can win using this strategy to get to 270 electoral votes. It's just impossible. Our founding fathers were light years ahead of their time when it comes to this.
He's competitive in every battleground state.
Yeah,
Let's see what happens. Pennsylvania, Ohio, Florida.
I think we'll see in the latest round.
I'm going to give Cappy the last word since he's the veteran.
Oh, Lord. Well, you know, I have to say something about the Khan controversy. I mean, a lot of people are saying this could be his Senator Joe McCarthy moment where Joseph Welch said, "At long last, sir, have you no sense of decency left?" I don't know if it's going to, if it's put an arrow in the side of Trump or not. I think it has. I think it's hurt him badly. And I think the next thing coming up is the debates. And if Hillary is well rehearsed and comes off strong, if he does not show his accumulated knowledge, which he so far, would you ask him where Switzerland is, please, if he even knows it's in Europe? I think the debates will probably finally tell the tale, will help.
Can I just thank you real quick? I know you're out of time. I want to thank you for what you do. I grew up in the Bronx. I thank you for what you do for our community. I know you've been out there for many years. I appreciate you. And what I appreciate in particular, the audience can't see it right now, but you have about 40 young people that are here in studio watching this show. The reason why this is important to me, back when I was growing up here in the Bronx on Webster Avenue, and my family, I grew up on welfare, didn't have money, they took us to the PAL. And at the PAL, they took me at these kids' age to a television show called Wonderama with Bob McAllister, who was the host. And thus, look at what I'm doing for a living now, television. And so we're planting seeds with these young people, and I'm greatly impressed by you, your team, your producers for having these young people here.
Thanks a lot, Dominic. We appreciate that. JC, as always, you guys got to come back again.
Oh, yeah.
And, we love to have you. We're just getting the irons going. So
what's the pay scale here?
We'll talk about that after.